Uh, at what I believe is our last hearing on GameStop, I'd like to talk about what we've learned. We've learned that everyday Americans have a newfound interest in the markets, and that's positive. We've learned that financial technology is here to stay, and it's providing more opportunities for retail investors to participate in our markets. That's positive. We've learned that Reddit is powerful. We've learned that Roaring Kitty is indeed not a cat. And we know just as much as we did at the first hearing. And I continue to hear the same policy solutions from my Democrat colleagues. The repackaged old, outdated policy failures wrapped in whatever's in the news this week to sell the American people on the idea that this time is different. Well, it's not. Like so many other bad progressive ideas sold under the guise of investor protection, which I think is important, Democrat proposals will ultimately reduce access to investment opportunities and charge DC bureaucrats and give them control of investing decisions of everyday Americans. If this committee is interested in responding to late January's events, we need to expand the accredited investor regime, not restrict it. It's ridiculous that our securities laws force most everyday Americans to the sidelines of early growth opportunities, investment opportunities. We need to find innovative solutions that allow more people to invest in businesses they support while retaining the flexibility our changing workforce needs and requires. This week, I reintroduced my bill, the Gig Worker Equity Compensation Act, to expand the category of workers that can benefit from equity compensation to include non-traditional workers. If you want to see the juxtaposition of Democrats and Republican priorities right now, just yesterday, the Biden administration moved to dismantle past efforts to provide gig workers with the flexibility they demand, that they need, that they require. If a state as liberal as California can recognize that a one-size-fits-all mandate on gig workers would be destructive, it should be obvious that the Biden administration should not take those same actions that went down at the ballot box in California. These actions that hurt non-traditional workers, not help them. I initially called for this hearing on GameStop to begin the process of fact-finding to inform our policy discussions. And the bottom line is we're still gathering a number of facts. That's why we have representatives from FINRA and DTCC testifying before us today. I think that's a good thing. Additionally, the SEC's review of the events is ongoing, and as is the committee's work behind the scenes in terms of document review and interviews. Despite the ongoing investigations and the testimony we'll receive today, many Democrats have their so-called solutions. A lot of these things have been kicked around for a long time. At our first GameStop hearing, I asked Democrats to side with the everyday American investors. I'll make that same ask today. We should not punish everyday American investors with a Democrat agenda, progressive agenda that results in fewer investment options or forces folks to start paying to make trades again. So let's go off of what we've learned. Let's stand up for everyday investors and make it easier for them to invest. And let's tear down barriers keeping folks out of the market instead of throwing up new ones to impair their ability to be in the market. Let's stand up for equity, true equity, and that's ownership. Ownership of the American economy, ownership in our capital markets, so we can remain the center of the free world's economic policies. And so with that, Madam Chair, I yield back.